Okay. Okay. All right. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for this week's episode on the studies of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Okay. So today is 11th April 2023. So today we're going to continue our weekly discussion on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So as usual, before we start, let's do our pranam, especially to our spiritual master, Mangalacharan. Okay. So meditate that you're just holding a flower, all right, or rose or something like that. You just meditate that that you're offering this flower to the to Srila Prabhupada and all the Guru Parambara, and also including Sri Krishna. All right. Okay. So we start our session. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagar Jadam Shaha Gana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gauraka Damadaya Nagaragramatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Pasachya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhana Videvidaitaye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vignanadayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jula Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasidanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestvam Nidasta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannatha Yate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavenebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratite Namaha Panchatatvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Vadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatang Suratau Pangur Mama Manda Matirgati Mat Sarvasva Padambo Jaurada Madana Mohanau Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadaha Srimad Ratnagara Singha Sanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prishtali Vi Sevya Manos Marami Sriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastita Karshan Venur Swanir Gopir Gopinata Yasri Estuna Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, you all can repeat after me. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Hare Hare
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama, Rama
Rama Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Right. So let's recite our prayers to Sanatan Goswami. Right. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusa, Sarva Vedaika Satpala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Sarva Lokeka Drikprada, Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Prabhu, Kalidvanto Ditaditya, Sri Krishna Parivartita. Anybody like to read the translation?
Marit Prabhu. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, O nectar churned from the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures, with the most prominent transcendental fruit of the Vedas, and are enriched with the jewels of all philosophical conclusions. You grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, and are the very life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. Actually, you are Lord Krishna, who has returned among us. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varsyaksarayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishna Namostume. Anyone? Second?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I offer respectful obeisance unto you by your reciting one as attains transcendental bliss, because your syllables shower down pure love of God. You are to be served by everyone, always, for you are incarnation of Lord Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Mat eka bandhu mat sangi, mat guru mat mahadana, mat nistaraka mat bhakya, mat ananda namostute. Next.
O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, O my only friend, companion, and teacher, O my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you.
Asadu sadhu tadayina tino chocha takara anamuncha kadachin mang premna ritanta yoshpura. Last one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, O bestower of the saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the most fallen, please never leave me, accompanied by pure love of Krishna. Please manifest yourself in my heart and throat.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Okay. So we are gathered here. And also we like, oh, Parikshit Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. So happy to have
Pranam,
Parikshit.
Hare Krishna, bro.
All right. And also Abhirami, thanks for coming. Abhirami is my cousin. All right. So before we start, Mataji, would you like to say your gratitude? Make it short, just within 1-2 minutes. Chaini Mataji.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Okay, I was introduced by ISKCON many years back when I first moved to KL. I had a friend called TC. I don't know what it was his ISKCON name, but he was called TC. I was introduced by him, and one Mr. Naidu was working in Sungai Buloh in the army camp, so he introduced me to ISKCON. And we used to go to the temple just to eat, only have the prasad. I was not in a, but from small, I had two grandmothers, my father's and my mother's side, both prayed to Krishna and Perumal. But I was never involved in all that. Then when I married my husband, is a Gujarati, they are more towards the, Vaishnavas. They are Vaishnavas, not just to pray to Krishna, but they are Vaishnavas. And they were all pure vegetarians who don't eat onion, garlic. And that is how I started joining ISKCON. And most of the time I went to eat, not to pray. And I was looking at the food. I really enjoyed eating Krishna's prasadam. Then later, I started buying these calendars. I had my first Bhagavad Gita I bought from in Govinda's in KL. I used to buy calendars. Then I used to buy pictures of Krishna. You can come to my house and see there's a lot of pictures of Krishna, everywhere I put. And slowly then my daughter-in-law, Meera, and my nephew, Prakash, is the one told, Mimi, since you love to pray to Krishna, why don't you join the Bhagavad Gita class, which I started 2 years back with Prabhu. And from there, I started reading, and I was only chanting three rounds of Hare Krishna. And when Prabhu said you should chant at least 16 rounds, so I went to 16 rounds. After 16 rounds, I felt that was not enough for me. I don't know why, something was telling me I should chant. Now I'm doing 32 rounds of
Really? Haribol.
Yes, I started 32, and I feel so much of changes in me after doing all that.
Fantastic.
My son is doing very well in his education. My husband's health has been perfect. Even I have a high problem. I have a glaucoma and so many times done laser and all that. Things are improving and all that. Krishna hasn't let me down in
Yes.
any way. That's all I can say. But I'm very scared of what the Vedic words they use and all that. I'm scared when I read, and I'll try to read, and I'll go wrong. If I say something wrongly, the words I say wrongly, then Krishna will punish me or what.
No.
I have that kind of fear.
Yeah.
But I keep reading the words. The words I'll start reading, trying to read and make myself to be very good at saying those words. It's very difficult because I don't have, I'm not that Tamil educated. I'm from a convent school, so I only do good in English, but other language.
Very nice.
But all I can say that.
And you are fasting on Ekadasi, yeah? Make sure.
Yes, and then I'm pure vegetarian now. I don't even go out and eat.
Because, no galig,
yeah, because I don't like to go to Indian shop where they have both. And I only go to like Chinese vegetarians, but not all the time. So I prefer to eat. And then during certain month, like Ekadasi, Pratasi month and all that, I'll try to be like fasting and all that.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. You are a great inspiration. I remember when you told me that your husband was not well.
Yes. One of
chanting, is it? I remember telling you there's nothing other than chanting. Anyway, don't worry about reciting the Sanskrit and all is not necessary. It's all secondary. The primary is to chant Hare Krishna. That's it. You have to go on chanting your rounds, 16 rounds minimum, but I'm very happy that you're doing 32 rounds. All right. And as we remember, we studied in Bhagavad Gita, right? That Krishna will come with a torch of light, all right, that remove the darkness born from ignorance. So even a day will come that you're going to pronounce Sanskrit mantras and everything. It's not by your own effort, but by the grace of Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hey, don't worry about whether you can pronounce it well. Krishna will never punish you. As I said, Krishna is waiting with a bait. He's just waiting. Which guy going to take my bait? Now you have taken his bait. He will never let you go.
Yes.
I'm so happy. All right.
Okay.
So, with that gratitude, we start our session. Thank you so much. So today we're going to discuss on this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on the passing of Bhishma Dev. Okay, Canto 1, Chapter 9, text 39. All right. So before that, let's do our invocation for the Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya tvanvayat itarascharte swabhijna swarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavihi Muhyanti Yatsurayah. Tejo Vari Mridamyata Vinimayo Yatrotri Sargo Marsha. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvadim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Right. So today we are in chapter text 39. Can you all see the screen? If the screen is visible?
Yes, visible, Prabhu.
All right, great. Okay, now, all right. So let's look at the verse 39. Vijaya. Okay, Vijaya. Rata. Kutumba, all right, or Kutumba. Okay, two, all right. When you see the T, there's a dot, and then you sounds like either T or it also can sound like a D. Two, all right. Kutumba, ba, Atha, At, okay, there's a Atha. Totre. All right, when you see O and E, naturally you can pull the raga. So totre, drtha. Okay, dr. Okay, when you see the R with a dot at the bottom, you just put your tongue at it. Dr, dr, dr. So it can even sound like ri or ru. So drutta, drutta. Right. So it can sound like drutta, drutta. All right. Then haya. Okay, now you see the S with the apostrophe. We're going to just like shampoo. Okay, the word that you're going to use shampoo. So rashmini, rashmini. Okay, touch chriyek shaniye. So touch chriyek. Okay, when you see there's an S with a dot at the bottom, so you're going to pronounce from the put the tongue on the seat. Sha, sha, sha. Okay, this is sha. This is sha, shampoo. This is sha. Okay, so tat chriyek shaniye. Tat chriyek shaniye. Okay, you see there's a I, there's a dash on top, so we pull the raga. So shaniye. Okay, Bhagavati Ratir Astu Me Mumurshur Yam Iha Nirikshya Hata Gataha. Okay, when you see there's a H, there's a dot at the bottom. If there's a A in front, there's a silent A at the back. If there's a I, there's a silent I at the back. So Gatihi, Gataha, Gatuhu. Okay, like that. Okay. So Gataha Swarupam. Swarupam. Alright. Okay, let's try. Vijaya Rata Kutumba Atatotre Dirtahaya Rashmini Tachriyekshani Bhagavati Ratir Astume Mumurshor Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Swarupam Vijaya Rata Kutumba Atatotre Dirtahaya Rashmini Tachriyekshani Bhagavati Ratir Astume Mumurshor Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Swarupam Vijaya Rata Kutumba Atatotre Dirtahaya Rashmini Tachriyekshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastume Mumurshor Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Swarupam. Okay, would like to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Vijayarata Kutumba Atatotre Dirta Haya Rashmini Tach Triyek Shaniye Bhagavate Rathir Astu Me Mumurshor Yam Iha Nirikshaya Hata Gata Swarupam. Hare Krishna.
Very good, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Your tongue stuck twisting at last.
No, bro. I got a light next to it. I can read it very clearly now.
Because last time your tongue couldn't twist.
Yeah, bro. Thank you very much. Good.
Not bad. All right, next. Who will be next? Okay, Nanda Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Vijayarata Kutumba Atatotre Dirtahaya Rashmini Tachriyekshaniye Bhagavate Ratir Astu Me Mumursor Yam Iha Niriksha Hata Gata Gatha Swarupam.
Yes. See, this pronunciation is supposed to be Hatha, not Hatha. Hatha.
Hata.
Yes, very nice. Okay, next. Who want to try? Abhirami, I saw you unmute. You want to try? Okay. Anyone else? One last person. We can have Parikshit Prabhu. You like to try, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhu.
Like to hear your nectarian voice.
Vijayarata Kutumba Atatotre Dhrutahaya Rashmini Tatriyakshaniye Bhagavate Ratir Astu Me Mumurshor Yam Iha Nirikshya Hatha Gata Swarupam.
Wonderful. Fantastic. All right. So Vijayaratta Kutumba Atatotre Tirtha Haya Rashmini Tachriyekshani Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumursho Yamiha Nirikshya Hatha Gata Swarupam. Vijaya. Vijaya is Arjuna. Ratha. Ratha means chariot. All right. In Tamil we call Radham, right? Ratha, chariot. Kutumbe. That means the object of protection of all risk. Atta totre. Okay, atta totre with the whip in the right hand. Okay, in the whip, with the whip in the right hand. Dhritahaya. Dhritahaya means controlling the horses. Rashmini means ropes. Tat Shriya, beautifully standing. Ikshaniye, to look at. Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead. Ratihi astu, let my attraction be. Me, my. Mumursho, one who is about to die. Yam, upon whom. Iha, in this world. Nirikshya, by looking. Ata, those who died. Gata, attain. Swarupam, original form. Swarupam. Okay, original form. All right, let's look at the translation. Translation is purported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction to be with Krishna. Okay. At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot drivers of Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand and bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death. Okay, so what we can understand from here is, all right, sometimes I think we have discussed this before, but again, like to repeat, they say, why people are so afraid to talk about death. If they find it's very inauspicious to talk about death. Right? So they always, death is something phobia, all right? But now, because of the modern degradation, okay, the modernization is degradation. We are people so degraded, they can even plan the time of birth, right? Before the person born, they go look for astrologer. The astrologer will ask, what do you want your son to be? Oh, I want him to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer. All right, doctor, make sure you cut open at this particular moment. Okay, if you want him to become a doctor, engineer, you would be saying. So that means that the birth nowadays can be distinct. But I mean, the time of birth, we can decide. But the time of death is always a surprise to all of us. It comes as a surprise, right? There's a, because death is something, as I believe, as we are getting older in life, we see that more and more people actually are dying. Right? Death is something very worried. People are worried. Why people are worried? Right? We know that, okay, we believe in reincarnation. We know that after we give up this old body, we are going to take the new body. So what? That means you're going to give up your proton and going to buy Mercedes. So what? It's supposed to be exciting, right? All right, you're going to change from old car, you're going to go to the new car. It's something. But the problem is, when we as a human being, we are so emotionally attached to this body, even though how much the body is being tormented, right? Or it is diseased, still we like to hold on to it. All right. So, when you look at this chapter, especially chapter 9, the passing away of Bhishma Dev, the title, it is a very important knowledge that Bhishma is giving us. That is the art of dying. The art of dying, right? Because that's very important. Because the death is actually our final exam. All the life that we are working hard and doing this, we are accumulating knowledge, studies, we are chanting our rounds 16. Now the Mataji is doing 32. Now we are reading Bhagavatam, we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? So that any question can come at the final exam. So at that final moment of time, if we can remember even one thing that you have read or studied in your lifetime, you stand a chance of going back to Godhood, back to eternity. All right. So now when you look at this verse here, So what Bhishma Dev is telling, at the moment of death, right? So Bhishma is telling, at the moment of death, right? Let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna. Right? Just try to think. All right. Bhishma Dev is lying on the bed of arrow. All right. Bed of arrow, and all the people are all surrounded him, all waiting. And the person is sitting there, and he knows that anytime he's going to leave this body. So at that moment, Bhishma is telling, imagine he was talking with so much of grace. Right? Rumbo, grave. He speaks with so much of realization and so much, because he is going to leave the body. All right. So just imagine, he says, at the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna. Let my ultimate attraction, that means ultimate attraction means he's not going to get attracted to see the grandson Yudhishthira as emperor. He's not going to get attracted to see all the family members, all the grandchildren and all this. He's not going to attract it. You see, let all my attraction to be with Sri Krishna. All right. The personality of Godhead. All right. So the personality of Godhead. Okay. Now, I concentrate my mind. So in here, Bhishma Dev is like giving instruction to the mind. All right. He's giving instruction to his mind. He said, now I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna. Okay. Krishna got another name called Partha Sarathi. Partha means Arjuna. Sarathi means driver. All right. So he said, let my mind, because that was the final moment as we went through this what they call, this Bhagavatam on this chapter. Remember, do you remember that previously we have read, that Bhishma Dev will be describing the beauty of Krishna riding the chariot. All right. That was the thing that is attracted him the most. So now he's telling, let my mind concentrate upon the chariot driver of Arjuna. All right. Let my mind to be absorbed. Okay. Concentrate upon Arjuna. I mean, the chariot driver of Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand. That means he got a whip. You know that you hit the horse, so the horse will run, right? So whip on the right hand, and the bridle rope in his left. Bridle, the thing that tie the one that handle the horse. Okay, the rope. Okay, they call bridle. The one hold the bridle on his left, and the one who having the whip on his right. All right. Okay. Now, at the same time, he says, who was very careful. He was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. So he protected the Arjuna's chariot by all means. And now the final thing that we say, those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original form after death. That means those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? So attained the original form after death. That means all those people who fought in Kurukshetra war, okay, they should have attained their original forms after death, right? So that means all those people who on Kurukshetra, on the Kaurava side and Pandava side, everyone is basically liberated. All right. Okay, now let's look at the purport, see what Prabhupada is saying. Okay, now let's look at this. All right. So let me just hold this. Okay. A pure devotee of the Lord. A pure devotee. Okay, first of all, let's identify what is pure devotee. A pure devotee means he got nothing else but Krishna. All right. As an example, I give you, say I'm a pure vegetarian. So pure vegetarian means I do not take onion, garlic, I don't take egg. That means pure. I just eat pure food, sattvic. Right? Okay. I'm a pure vegan. That means I don't take any kind of animal product. So when we say that I'm a pure mean, that means you are fully absorbed in that subject. So here, what Prabhupada is saying, the pure devotee of the Lord, okay, what he says, he constantly sees the presence of the Lord within himself because of being transcendentally related by loving service. All right. So what we can understand from here now. Okay. Now, a pure devotee. All right. That means the pure devotee. Okay. What is the qualification of pure devotee? That means we see he constantly sees the presence of the Lord. Right? He sees the presence of the Lord. And now what example we can take from here? Remember in Bhagavad Gita what Krishna says? Right? I am the taste of the water. I am the might in the man. I am the, what they call, I am, what else? Okay. So example, like you've given this kind of example. So whenever you drink Krishna, you remember, okay, I am the taste of water. All right. So another thing is like when you see a man doing some Herculean task, what Krishna says, I am the I am the energy, all right, the strength in the man. So like that, the pure devotee constantly see everywhere the presence of the Lord. And at the same time, he also sees within himself. He always within himself he sees presence of the Lord because of being transcendentally related. That means he got a transcendental relationship. All right. How he got a transcendental relationship? By loving service. So the service is the ultimate, the loving devotional service. So that means in order for us to become a pure devotee of the Lord, this is what we should start from. So what we should start? Let's go back way. We start with the loving service, right? And through that loving service to the Lord, you will identify your transcendental relationship. You will know what is how you're related to. At the same time, you can see within yourself the presence of the Lord, and you constantly see everywhere, and eventually become a pure devotee. Okay, so such a pure devotee cannot forget. He cannot forget the Lord even for a moment. That means he can't even forget. Sometimes it becomes like his second nature. He can't forget the Lord even for a moment. This is called trance. This is called trance. All right. This is called trance. Right. Not the trance that we all hear. That sometimes we see people get trance. They'll be jumping up and down. Right. With airplane. All that's not trance. Okay. This is called trance. Okay. Now the mystic yogi. All right. Now this is what the devotees. Now let's look at mystic yogis. Right. The mystics. The mystic means the yogi. What is the reason the yogi is going and doing all this kind of severe meditation? What is the reason they're doing? Because they want to achieve some kind of mysticism. Right? Sometimes when you see yogi can do magic, yogi can do all kind of things. The yogi can walk on the water. So that means it still can be considered as for sense gratification. All right. So, but anyway, but what the yogi will do? What the yogi will do? Yogi tries to concentrate. Okay, he only tries to concentrate upon the super soul by controlling the senses from all other engagement. All right. He tried to control the senses. All right. He tried to control the senses from all other. 1 second. Give me a second. Huh? All right. Sorry. So that means he's controlling the senses from all other engagement. Okay. He controlled the senses. And thus he ultimately attains samadhi. All right. So that means he needs to control his senses so severely. All right. Okay. I give you some example. Example how he control the senses. He do not supply the demand of the mind. When the mind says it's chilling cold, what do you do? He go into the water and meditate. You are saying it's cold, I'll give you extra cold. All right. They go into the river. During the winter, they will meditate in the water. All right. And during the scorching heat, hot summer, like I think today the weather is crazy, right? I think in Ipoh it hit almost 40 degrees, right? So in this scorching heat summer, what they will do, they will put the fire around them and they sit in the middle. All right. They sit in the middle. Okay. So that means by doing all this kind of hard labor, okay, and they ultimately attain samadhi. Okay. To attain, okay, now we must understand this samadhi means it's not the samadhi that we're talking about, death. He's not talking about that samadhi. That samadhi is you are in full trance. That means you're fully absorbed in Krishna. All right, it's fully absorbed. All right. Okay. Now, so that means that means the yogi takes so much of hard labor to achieve this thing, but a devotee more easily attains samadhi or trance. Okay. The devotee attains samadhi very easily. How? By constantly remembering the Lord's personal feature. Right? That's the first thing. That means what he do, he constantly remember the Lord's personal feature. Right? Because we must understand the Lord is a person. Right? Lord is not light. Right? Lord, of course, they say Paramatma lives in my heart. Yes, fair enough. Oh, the Lord is omnipresent. He lives everywhere, right? But we also must understand the Lord is a person, right? So what even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, worship me in the form of Krishna. He declares very clearly, right? Very clearly he says, worship me in the form of Krishna. All right. So that means we must remember the Lord's personal feature. Then after that, what we do? Then along with his holy name, we chant his holy name. We speak about his fame, pastimes, and etc. Right? So when you look at this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, basically is a glorification about his pastimes. All right, his holy name, fame, pastimes, and at the same time in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam also we study how a pure devotee of Krishna attained Krishna. We see so many examples, right? So the first example that in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam we are seeing is the passing of Bhishma Dev. Okay, how Bhishma Dev is going back home, back to Godhead. After that, as we go on, we're going to see, all right, this is the pure devotee of Krishna dies this way. Remembering Krishna, he goes to Krishna. As we go on, we also can see a Pakka Karmi. Suddenly at the time of death, suddenly remembers Narayana, he also go back, Ajamil. So we see all varieties of example, all right, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So that's why Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is a very, very important text. So I hope that you are not just waiting for Tuesday to join this Bhagavatam. You must make a point to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam every single day. Because every day when you read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you chant your holy name, some or other your mind and your intelligence will be purified and you'll be fully absorbed in Krishna. Okay. So therefore, the concentration of the mystic yogi, okay, where is it? All right. Therefore, the concentration of mystic yogi and of the devotee are not on the same level. Okay, that means the concentration, okay, we highlight this, concentration of mystic yogi and the devotees. Okay, they are not on the same level. All right. The way that mystic yogi attain samadhi and the way that devotee attain samadhi is not same. The concentration of the mystic yogi is mechanical. Right. So the yogi's concentration is mechanical. Okay. All right. The mystic. All right. The way the mystic yogi is doing is mechanical, whereas the pure devotee is natural in pure love and spontaneous affection. All right. So the pure devotee, they are natural in pure love. They are very naturally in love and spontaneous affection. All right. Okay. Now, Bhishma Dev was a pure devotee. Right. Now we are discussing Bhishma Dev is a pure devotee. And as a military marshal, he constantly remembered the battlefield feature. All right. Because remember, as I say just now, at the time of death, if you can remember any of the situation that you have read and understood in Bhagavatam, you can go back home, back to Godhead. Any of the things. So now here the example Prabhupada is giving here is Bhishma Dev was a pure devotee, but at the same time he's a military marshal, right? He's a commander in chief, right? He's a commander, right? He's a military marshal. So as a military man, how he attracts to Krishna? By constantly remember the battlefield feature of the Lord as Parthasarathi. So that means he remembers Krishna in the form of Parthasarathi. You understand? All right. Say, like for instance, say if you are a medical practitioner, right? Medical practitioner, and you're so much absorbed in medicine, and of course, one of the form of Krishna that come in the medical form is Dhanvantri, right? So that means, example, a doctor always so absorbed in the pastimes of Dhanvantri. You know, he got Dhanvantri, Gayatri, he chant that. You know, he'd be following all the things. At the time of death, as a doctor, he will remember Dhanvantri. Just an example I'm giving. All right, just an example for your understanding. All right. So that means because he is a military man, he remembers Krishna in the war field. All right. He don't see Krishna before when Krishna come and the pastime. You know, you don't remember all that. He only remembers Krishna in the battlefield because that is what naturally is inclined to. Right. And also the chariot driver of Arjuna. Therefore, the Lord's pastime as Parthasarathi is also eternal. So that means the Lord's pastime as Parthasarathi is also eternal. The pastime of the Lord, beginning from his birth at the prison house of Kamsa. All right. So beginning, okay, the spotlight. Okay. So the pastime of the Lord, beginning from his birth at the prison house of Kamsa, up to the Maushala Leela at the end, all move one after another in all the universe, just as the clock hand moves from one point to another. It's keep moving, tick, 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 tick. It's moving, right? Like that, the pastime is keep going on, right? And in such pastime, his associates like the Pandavas and Bhishma are constantly eternal companion, right? So what we can understand from here? So here we see, and as such pastime, that means just like as the clock is clicking, it's keep moving around. So similarly, that the Pandavas, like the Pandavas and Bhishma, are Lord Krishna's eternal companions. That means they are his eternal companions. All right. So far, so good. Any questions? All good?
No questions.
All right. So now, Bhishma Dev. Now let's look at this. So Bhishma Dev never forgot the beautiful feature of the Lord as Parthasarathi, which when Arjuna could not see, which even Arjuna could not see. Why? Why Arjuna could not see that? Because both are fighting, but Arjuna could not see. Arjuna could not see his expression, Krishna's expression, the way he bring the thing, because he's behind. Right? But Bhishma is in front, right? So Arjuna was behind the beautiful Parthasarathi, while Bhishma Dev was just in front of the Lord. As far as the military feature of the Lord concerned, Bhishma Dev observed this with more relish than Arjuna. So Bhishma Dev observed this with more relish, with so much of happiness compared to Arjuna. All right, now, as all the soldiers and person on the battlefield Kurukshetra. Now, this is very important. Okay. So now, all the soldiers and the person on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original spiritual form like the Lord after the death. All right. After the death, because of the causeless mercy of, okay, now, after the death. Okay, now. So now, as we sometimes we see, people say, Arjuna, Krishna should have stopped the fight. They say that is the biggest civil war in the history of mankind. All right. There's the biggest civil war. Civil war means it's a fight among brothers, cousins. Pangali Sanda. Right? This is the biggest civil war in the history of mankind. Right? At the same time, it is the highest death rate happened within 18 days. Right? Within a short period of time, millions of people died. Akshoni, right? Remember that we have discussed before, right? How many Akshoni this side, how many Akshoni that side? All were killed. Only few survived. Right? And one of them is Ashwatthama. Remember the Ashwatthama? That one tried to kill the one who killed the children of Arjuna, right? And of course, the Pandavas, and only few survived. Handful people survived. Others all died, killed in action. So, what is that advantage? What is that advantage of dying in Kurukshetra and fighting against Krishna? So, you know what happened? All the soldiers and person on the battlefield, right? All the soldiers and also the person. I mean, all the soldiers and persons on the battlefield, all right? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they attain their original spiritual form, right? Just like the Lord after their death. So original the form, like the thing is, that means the form, that means they all have gone to Vaikuntha Loka. All right? Is it worth the effort or not? Right? They're just dying right in front of Krishna. That means they all seeing, okay, there's a Krishna is fighting, so someone or other, they died in the presence of Krishna. So that means all of them, right? All of them, they actually attain the original spiritual form. They call Swarupya Moksha, Swarupa, same form, right? Or after their death. Because by the causeless mercy of Lord, they were able to see him face to face on that occasion. That's why in Bhagavad Gita it says Dharma Kshetri, Kuru Kshetri. Dharma Kshetri. Why they set up the war in the Kurukshetra? Why? Because see, in those ancient times, they are so civilized. Their civilization is so great, right? You know what happened? They choose the time to fight, and they fight, and they choose the place, right? Just like this. Okay, now we both of them, you and I are going to go into war. All right, and then we talk. Okay, now we're going to set the fight, right? We choose this place, Dharma Kshetri. That means the place of Kurukshetra. Why? Any warriors get killed in Kurukshetra, they'll attain heaven. So what they thought? Okay, fight, die, go to heaven. If you're alive, you win the kingdom. Still worth it. It's a win-win situation, right? Not like now modern days warfare. The soldiers are hiding and shooting, right? And they need to drop the bomb randomly. And the so-called soldiers, so-called warriors, go and hide behind women and children, right? And the snipers, now they got even robotics, robot soldiers and all these kind of nonsense things happening, all right? Nowadays, it's not Kshatriya. Okay, now, but that time, that is that Kshatriya. That's the Kshatriya Dharma. So that means they selected the place so that, but the another advantage here is, but when Krishna appears there, because Krishna is there in that battlefield, it is an advantage, both Kaurava and Pandava army, that they go back beyond that heavenly kingdom, beyond Indraloka. That means they go to Vaikuntha Loka and they have the Swarupya. That means they'll have the form of Vishnu. That means they have 4 arms. They've got a blue features, right? Exactly like Vishnu. Right? So it's interesting. Okay. The conditioned soul rotating in the, okay, now face to face on the, okay. Now another thing, the conditioned souls. All right, what is conditioned soul means? What does it mean by conditioned soul? That means the soul who are conditioned, right? Just like example, you take an eagle, you take the egg of the eagle and put in a chicken den. All right. So once the egg of the eagle hatched in chicken den, the eagle will start to believe that it actually is a chicken. It will be going picking some worms and scratching the ground. It forget that its original constitution position as the king of the sky. All right, it will act like a chicken. All right, that means that there has been conditioned. Right. Example that like say some people, right? Even the okay, I give you a very good example like Tarzan. Have you watched the movie Tarzan? Right? You all watched the movie Tarzan? What happened? The Tarzan, a boy lost in jungle. But because the Tarzan, the boy, has been brought up by the gorillas, he become like a gorilla. Conditioning, right? He's been conditioned. That's what condition. So that means we are conditioned. That means we are pure. We are Sachidananda Vigraha. We have our original form is full of knowledge, eternal and beautiful Vigraha. But Krishna also Sachidananda Vigraha. But we are the minute Sachidananda Vigraha. Just like the ocean and the drop of seawater, what's the difference? Both are same, salty. But the quantity is different. The spark and the fire. All right, the spark and the fire. The fire is there, but the spark, both are fire. But the quality, the quantity is different. So we are the original form. We have that original form that we have left behind in Goloka Vrindavan. Right? But once we are here, we have been conditioned. And what are the conditioning? I'm a man. I'm an Indian, I'm Malaysian, I'm this, I am that, right? We are conditioning, false ego, right? So this is what they call the conditioned soul, right? Because we have been conditioning. That means once we fell from this spiritual world into this material plane, and we were living in this way for millions and trillions and ages, right? That's why Prabhupada used the word time immemorial, cannot be counted. How many times that actually you have been born and died in varieties of species, 8.4 million species. Human form alone got 400,000, aquatics 2 million, right? I think so. I hope I'm right. Something like that, right? So that means we have been passing through all one by one. So what happened, right? Our intelligence, our mind carry all that experience. We carry all the experience to the next birth. So that means we have been conditioned, right? Just like an example, like a diamond, right? A dirt accumulate. The dirt accumulate. Okay, there's one layer of dirt, alukku, go to another layer of tusi, adukku, dirt. It become compressed until it become carbonized. After it become even more severe, millions of years of compact, that carbon turn into diamond. And once the carbon turn into diamond, you can never cut it. So it takes another diamond to cut the diamond, right? It takes another diamond to cut the diamond. So we have been conditioned birth after birth. Our conditioning becomes so crystallized. We have a firm belief system that this is the place that I want to be, because we are in total ignorance. In that ignorance, we have been very, very comfortable. So when a diamond takes to cut another diamond, sometimes people used to say, why can't the God come down himself? Since God is great, like some atheists will ask this question. Atheists are considered very foolish people, extremely foolish people, because they cannot think out of the box. They can believe the science which doesn't make sense, but they can never believe that there's a somebody behind the science. The raw ingredient that the scientist has been created, that they are using in their experiment, was provided by someone. You understand? Sometimes they say, oh, look at this German marvel, Mercedes-Benz. Wow, such a fantastic design. The German guys got fantastic brains. Their technology is first class. Okay? But suddenly you say, about Earth, no. Earth just happened by itself. Something went, Big Bang, boom, exploded, everything set in places, everything created. When they can believe that car has been created by the German marvel, by the Germans, there's a creator behind Mercedes, but they cannot agree the creator behind this universal creation. That's why we call him the Muda. Muda means foolish. Anyway, so they say, oh, since you say God is there, why can't the God come down and why they need to put us in this kind of situation? What is your logic? What is the thing? Why can't he just come down and say, okay, come, I'll take you back home, back to Godhead? Why they need to give you this? They have to give you education. They have to train you up, right? They have to, they'll come and do some test on you. Why? Right? And somebody will come, they'll say, because you must understand. See, when this diamond can be only cut by another diamond. Similarly, to liberate a human being, we need another human being to liberate us. You all understand? And that another human being is the form of Krishna as a spiritual master. We study that in detail in Adi Leela, chapter 1 of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you got Chaitanya Charitamrita, please go and read that. All right? Krishnadas Kaviraj will be explaining Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and Chaitya Guru. And they say Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru is equal to Krishna. That's why we worship our spiritual master. Because we worship our spiritual master, because the spiritual master came to liberate you from this conditioning that has been accumulated billions and trillions of years, that has become carbon. It's not possible to get rid or cut open by your own effort. It never worked that way. It doesn't work. It can never happen. So the only person is a guru in the form of human being will come and speak to you in your language to convince you, to guide you, to chastise you, to mold you, to prepare you, so that when you go back home, back to Godhead, you know what to do. So that's it. So that's why we call conditioned soul. So we have been conditioned soul. All right, now come to the point. So the conditioned soul, what is happening here? We are actually rotating. We are rotating up, down in the evolutionary cycle from the aquatic to the form of Brahma. So that means we are floating. That means we are evolution. That means we are rotating from the aquatics, which is the lowest form, up to Lord Brahma. So we go there, we fall down here, then we are just rotating. We are like in a washing machine, never ending. All right, like a Ferris wheel. It's going around. When you one day you're Brahma, the next day you'll be a worm, and the following day you'll be someone else. Then again, that you'll become a deep water, fish and everything. So okay, so that means we are cycle aquatic up to the form of Brahma. Okay, all in the form. Okay, that means the conditioned soul rotating in the evolutionary cycle from the aquatics up to the form of Brahma are all in the form of Maya, right? Maya. So all in the form of Maya, or the form that obtains by one's own action and awarded by material nature. Okay, now let's look at this. So that means all these forms that we are getting is because of the act of Maya. What is Maya means? Maya means illusion. To believe something which doesn't, which illusion. That means not okay. Like for instance, this material world is a dead place, right? Example, maybe another 100 years from now, say like now is 2023, 2123, definitely I will never exist. You all agree? And definitely all of you will never exist. Do you all agree? 100 years from today. Hello, anybody home?
Agree, Prabhu, agree.
Oh, okay. I thought nobody's there. Right. So 100 years down the road, we are not going to exist. Right. But we work in such a way that we are accumulating property, we are making big advancement, everything as though we're going to live forever. Right. There's one saying, okay, because formerly I used to do this motivational talk. Okay, there's something that's fantastic in psychology. They used to use system. When you want to advise someone or counsel someone, you know what we used to say? After all, nothing matters. After all, nothing matters. Right? Example, a Japanese soldier fought against American, and they fought against American during World War II with so much of hatred and anger until they lose all their bullets is finished. Then they take the sword, banzai, they want to go and keep, pop, 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 they get shot. The Americans shoot them, they die. And what they died thinking, bloody America, boom, we die. And you know what? Next birth, he becomes America. Next birth, he'll born in America. The person that he hated the most, he will get that form. You understand? So what's the point? Right. So that means this Maya illusion, we are in illusion. And secondly, you see, or the form obtained by one's own action. So see, example, what you have eaten yesterday, that is how you are today. Right? If yesterday, if you have eaten rubbish, today you will be suffering. I don't know. If you have taken some food which is filthy, which is dirty and all this, today you'll be having bad day, diarrhea, you'll be sick. And what you eat today is going to be tomorrow. Similarly, what action, that means you are given a lifetime to make a decision what body you want next birth. You only can decide in the form of human being. Once we fall into the animal kingdom, we have no choice. We will just rotate. We go by default. Right? Example, suddenly it's my bad fortune. Suddenly next birth, I fall down, I become a dog. Right? Maybe after dog, because I chanted some Hare Krishna, maybe first I'll born as a dog. Then after dog, maybe I'll become a horse. Then after horse, I'll become a cow. And after cow, I come back to human being. Example. I'm giving an example. Right? So after you become to the human being, you have the right to make a decision. Krishna have given you the minute independence to make a decision. What do you want to? So that means you come to the level, neutral level, break even. You make a decision. Whether you want to go up back to heaven or you want to still fall down and drown again in material universe and come back up again into the this thing. Right? So that means all the thing is obtained by own action and awarded by material nature. The material nature will award you. From Patala Loka down there up to Brahma Loka is a place of birth, death, old age, and disease. Even Lord Brahma has to die. Remember, we have studied that. Right? Remember that we have studied that. We calculate the Lord of Brahma, Lord Brahma, how many years, right? Daytime, nighttime, partial annihilation, full annihilation, right? So like that. So that means, so we will be like rotating up and down, up and down, up and down. All right. But we are so fortunate here. I should say that all of you are very fortunate. Out of millions of birth and death, one who are lucky, you will get a form of a human being. Out of millions of people have taken the form of human being. If you are lucky, you know Krishna as God. Out of millions of people know Krishna as God. If you are lucky, you will surrender to him. And out of millions of person who have surrendered to Krishna, if you are lucky, you will attain him. You can hardly attain him. You can never attain him. Right? Why? Because in that period, we must have a guru. So we have an eminent Siksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada. And once you are purified by consciousness, a guru, your personalized guru will appear in front of you. Right? So that means, in other words, even before, like some of you are not initiated and everything, it doesn't matter. But you have accepted Srila Prabhupada as a guru. And you are studying the most confidential part of the Vedic literature, delivered in a very simple, understandable English, and also has been translated into 70 over languages around the world. And Srila Prabhupada have created a community of devotees. There is a center every nook and corner of the country. And now, because of the COVID, Krishna have created another better opportunity to preach. That is Zoom platform. Like some of you are in Singapore, some of you are in Sarawak, around Malaysia, around the world are gathered here, and we are discussing Bhagavad Gita. So that means, in other words, if we can do this, you know what does that mean? You are the most fortunate person. The fortune is not accumulating millions of dollars, property and all this. Once upon a time, my grandfather was a multi-millionaire. My cousin is here. I cannot tell lies. My cousin sister is here. Our grandfather was a multi-millionaire. He came from India to Malaysia. We just with one Vesti and Jipan, Vesti and Velasate. But when he died with, there's a big pompous ceremony. A big Chettiar have died, big time millionaire. But what happened? Then my uncle took over, gone. Right? So that means in this world, nothing actually sustains. Nothing sustains. The only thing that sustains, all right, is Krishna conscious. So all that effort that my grandfather used to do, now what happened? Wasted. My mom used to tell me, first thing in the morning when my grandfather wake up, he'll stare at money. பக்கத்திலே கல்லாப்பட்டி இருக்கும். காலையில எழுந்திரிச்சோன்னா அதை திறந்து காசுல முழிப்பாங்களாம். You just look at the money. Wow, money. Then he go and bake and take there, he go to work, come back, he brings so much of money. See, I brought a lot of money and put in the kallapatti. Right? But what happened to all his effort? Wasted. So that means in any attempt that we're going to do in this material world, it's everything at the end of the day is wasted attempt. Because we must understand our constitutional position, that we don't belong here. We are not this material world wala. We don't belong to this place. We got somewhere that has been created for us for eternity. And somehow just imagine, so that means, in other words, my dear devotees, friends, that all of you are the most fortunate people. Right? In other words, your visa has been approved. But you have to make a decision when you want to fly. No, if you take visa, India visa, I think you take 6 months visa or 1 year visa, you take. But when you want to fly, it's your decision. I can fly tomorrow, or maybe I can fly after 8 months, or maybe I can fly maybe in after 6 months. The decision is mine. So you have to make the decision. When are you going to this? For some, this life can be quarter-final. For some, it can be semi-final. But for some, it's final. Right? This is going to be the final moment in this miserable place. But whatever it is, the decision is yours. And what we should do? Simple. RDC formula. Read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita without fail every single day. Right? Distribute Bhagavad Gita. Talk about Bhagavad Gita to someone. Remember the final verse in Krishna says, those who read and discuss, okay, they are very, very dear to me. I mean, those people who speak of Bhagavad Gita and they share the Bhagavad Gita to others, he is very, very dear to me. Krishna says that. Very, very dear. So we work in such a way to please Krishna, right? So speak about Bhagavad Gita. The second. And the third thing, what we should do? Chant. There's no compromise. 16 rounds minimum is a must. It's only going to take 1.5 hours of your lifetime. It's not going to take a long time. All right. If you're very busy, use the clicker. You can anytime use the clicker, or you can use that the big bags. The big bag. But you should start somewhere. Right? Oh, Prabhu, I cannot carry my bag around. Doesn't matter. Use the clicker. When you're traveling on the train, MRT, or whatever, just use the clicker. If you feel you don't see people, just use the clicker. Eventually, you get attracted. You'll go anyway. So RDC formula is the formula that guarantees you. Like what the Mataji said just now, I couldn't chant. I couldn't say that Sanskrit, but it's not important at all. It's not necessary. Even I'm not good in, I can pronounce it. I can chant it, but I've got a very bad memory of memorizing Sanskrit verses. But it doesn't matter. The most important is, are you chanting? That matters the most. So the material form of the conditioned soul. So now the material form of the conditioned soul, right? The form of the soul has been conditioned is all foreign dresses. It is not your original dress. It's foreign dress. And when the conditioned soul becomes liberated, what happened? Right? Become liberated from where? What Prabhupada is using the word clutches. What does clutches means? Irriki pudichikitaga. The Maya has been clutches. Vasama matigachi. Vasama matikitinga. Vasama. All right, just like in the web. All right, it's a clutches. If you want to get liberated from the clutches, that means there's so many factors are holding you so tight. You can never move. You're already carbonized. Tons of rock is sitting in front on your head. You're clutched. Right? Of who? By the material energy. All right. When one becomes liberated from the clutches of material energy, you know what will happen? He attains his original form. That means he's attained his original form now. What does that mean? We can understand. That means you have your original form. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look deep into yourself. All right. Maybe tonight after the program, or maybe you can see yourself in the Zoom. yourself, try to look at yourself. Okay? You are not that. You understand? When you go and see in a mirror, or you are trying to like, you look at yourself, something, oh, I look pretty. That doesn't matter. But look deep into yourself. Look deep into your eyes. Look at the features. That is not you. That is artificial form that nature has prepared for you. Artificial. Because artificial thing will never last. So that means you have your original form somewhere. Right? So that is what the idea about ISKCON. The ISKCON is trying our best to revive your lost relationship to Krishna. All right? The impersonalists. Now let's look at this. Now another topic. Okay. Now Prabhupada is mentioning about impersonalists. All right? Impersonalists means those who do not believe in the form of the Lord. Jodi 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 Suyam. Jodi 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 Arul. Kadavalake Uravamillai. Kadavul Oli. Kadaval Light. Right? They only believe that. That means they say we call them as impersonalists. All right. So now the impersonalist wants to attain the impersonal Brahman, effulgence of the Lord. Okay. What is Brahman effulgence? Brahman effulgence, say like for instance, okay, we have aura, right? Okay, we all have aura. Okay, aura. We have aura around us, Oli. All right, aura. So like that, Krishna has his aura. That means his transcendental form that comes from his body. We call this as Brahma Jyoti. All right, Brahma Jyoti. And this Brahma Jyoti we call as impersonal Brahman. All right. So that means the impersonal people, they do not agree, they do not recognize the form of Krishna. They like to merge into the light of Krishna, the effulgence. Okay. But that is not at all congenial to the living sparks. This is not at all congenial, means it's not very favorable to the living parts, living spark, who is the part and parcel of the Lord. So that means we cannot, it doesn't suit the living spark. So that means when we are merging into this Oli, that means we are, what we are doing? We are actually merging into the light. That means we are going there and just become nothing. Right? Just like people taking a sun bath. Just merge into it and just become no one. You are someone, go in and become no one. You can never last that. You can remain there for some time, but after that, you still have to fall down. You still have to come back because that's not your original place. All right. So that means there's a living. Okay. Therefore, the impersonalists again fall down. That means they again fall down and again they get the material form. That means they work so hard to go there and they fall down, they still get back their material body, which are all false to the spirit soul, which is all false. Okay. A spiritual form like the Lord, the spiritual form like the Lord. Okay. Let me highlight this again. Okay. The spiritual form, okay, form like the Lord. That means the form like Krishna, either two-handed or four-handed. Two-handed means Krishna, four-handed means Krishna, Ram, all four two-handed. Four-handed means Vishnu, Narayana, is attained by the devotees. Can you imagine? So that means the two-handed form or the four-handed is attained by the devotees of the Lord, either in Vaikuntha or Goloka planet. So the Vaikuntha Loka, you will have the form like Vishnu, the four arms, right, with all the features like Vishnu. But after that, if at all, if you go to this, if you get liberated to the Goloka planet, right, you will be just like Bala, a young boy playing around with Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. So you have the form like Krishna, right? You'll be two-hand, you'll be just like how we are looking now. Okay. So far, so good. According, okay, now, any question? All okay? So far, so good.
Okay, Prabhu, okay.
Okay. Now, all right. So, okay, now. Okay. So either two-handed or four-handed is attained by the devotees of the Lord. Just now we highlighted this. Two-handed, okay, by the devotee of the Lord. either in Vaikuntha or Goloka planet. Okay, Vaikuntha or Goloka. And how? According to the original nature of the soul.
Yes, clear, Prabhu.
Yes. All right. So according to the original nature of the soul. Right? What is that original nature of the soul? Are you a Vaikunthavasi or you're a Golokavasi? According to that, you'll get the thing. This form of the law, okay? Okay, that means the form that you are granted, all right? This form. Did I break just now? Is there a line broken just now?
Mine, no breaking, Prabhu.
No breaking, okay, all right, okay. So that means now we can either think about Vaikunthas or Goloka planet according to the original nature of the soul. Okay, now this form. Okay, what is this form that given to you that you see? 100% spiritual is 100% spiritual. The form that you are taking it, your original form, is 100% spiritual. As I said just now, it's Swarupa. Swarupa means the original form of the living being. Right? And all the living beings who participate. So that means now Prabhupada says all the living beings who participate in the battle of Kurukshetra on both sides attain the Swarupa Moksha. And is confirmed by Bhishmadev. All right? So that means all those people who died there, they didn't die in vain. Right? They all got liberated. So Lord Krishna was not merciful. Lord Krishna was not merciful only to Pandavas. He was also merciful to the other parties because all of them attained the same result. Because all of them attained the same results. So Bhishmadev wanted the same facility also. So now Bhishmadev also wanted the same facility. Right? And that was his prayer to the Lord. So that means Bhishma wanted to have the same facility. That means he also wanted to have that thing. And that was his prayer. And that's what he's praying to the Lord. Although his position as an associate of the Lord, that means although his position is associate of the Lord is assured, is guaranteed in all circumstances. The conclusion is that whoever dies looking on the personality of Godhead, within or without, attains his Swarupa, which is the highest perfection of life. So that is that perfection. So that means when we are every day engaging ourselves, our mind, our intelligence in chanting and glorifying the Lord, right? By that, what we have read just now, we become somehow or other absorbed in the Lord. We become absorbed, right? We become we always think about him. All right, we think within him, within ourselves and within. Okay, we think Krishna in the without, and you start to see Krishna everywhere. Right? So what Prabhupada is making a conclusion. Whoever, so that means it's an open offer, open declaration. Barang siapa, in Malay we call barang siapa. Right? Sometimes if we read in a law book, right? Barang siapa membuat hal ini boleh dipenjarakan. So barang siapa, when we say whoever he says, that means whoever, doesn't matter is a royalty, doesn't matter is a politician, doesn't matter is in force or normal citizenship, normal citizen. Whoever conduct, misconduct or break these rules can be punished. Barang siapa membuat hal ini boleh dipunish, boleh dihukum. So whoever, so what Prabhupada is saying, whoever dies, right? Whoever dies looking on the personality of Godhead, looking at Krishna, within himself or without, that means you put this, okay, attains his Swarupa, attains his thing, which is the highest perfection of life. That's why, my dear friends, if we have photos like dogs, some people like to have the photo of the dog in the house, photo of horse, the running horse, they say Feng Shui, or they have that koi fish, right? All this, please replace it with Krishna. All right? So, okay. And somehow, if you have in your phone screensaver, put it Krishna. All right? Try to be Krishna conscious. So what Krishna says, even within or without. All right? That's why we say that association of devotees is very important. All right, whenever devotee knows that another devotee is going to pass on, all the other devotees will come and chant the holy name. So when we look at another devotee, we remember the tilak that putting on the forehead. Through lotus feet of Krishna is and the tulasi of it, down there is tulasi. So by just looking at carrying a tilak, we remember Krishna. Okay, so by that, it's assured that our life can be perfected. Okay, so this is such a wonderful verse, text 39. So next week we do text 40. Okay, so next week will be very interesting. Okay, Bhishma is continuing. What it says: Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya. Pranaya means life breath. Nirikshana Kalpito Rumanaha Kritam Anukratavatya Unmadan Daha Prakritim Agankila Yasya Gopa Vadvaha. Lalita means attractive, Gati movement, Vilasa fascinating act, Valguhasa sweet smiling, Pranaya loving, Nirikshana looking upon, Kalpita mentally, Urumana highly glorified, Kritam Anukratavatya in the act of copying this movement, Unmada Anda gone mad in ecstasy, Prakritim characteristic again underwent, Kila certainly Yasya whose Gopa Vandaha the cowherd dams. So now the next week is going to be very interesting. Let my mind be fixed upon Lord Sri Krishna, whose motion and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Rajadam or the gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movement of the Lord after disappearance from the Rasa dance. Right? So this is going to be very interesting topic that we discuss next week. Okay. Till then, okay. So we just stop at 39. So any questions, any comment? Hi, Mr. Subramaniam. Prabhu, how are you? Subra Prabhu, are you there? How are you doing? All right. You're muted. You're muted. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, having a cold.
Huh?
Sorry, flu.
Oh, you're having your dinner. All right. Okay. Subramani Prabhu is fresh from oven. Freshly graduated Bhakti Sastri. Did Shanti Rupa Mataji called you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Are you taking up the offer?
Yeah, but for time being, because she said she wants if you can more for English option now.
No, she said she wants Tamil word. That's why I did.
Having cold.
Oh, okay. No problem, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions? So Abhirami, thank you. You are coming for the first time. I hope you can join all our classes.
Sure, Prabhu.
And also you can check out our YouTube channel. Okay, we can check out all the old. Yes, Mataji, Nanda Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, but first time she said she wants
Yes. Nanda Mataji, you're saying something?
No, Prabhu, sorry. Because
Oh,
I
okay.
was actually watching your YouTube class. I was watching on my
Wow,
smart
double
TV.
dose, huh?
I was watching there and I kept it on.
I
My
see.
smart
Okay.
turned on. I mean, it's easier for me because it's a bigger screen on the smart TV.
I see.
It's louder also, so I was watching there. Actually, it's
Oh,
nice that you're going live.
No, that's what I was wondering.
Convenient.
Subramaniam Prabhu, stop talking and I can hear the voice from your side.
Yeah. Sorry. I unmute myself accidentally. So
Okay,
sorry.
okay. Sure. All right.
Okay.
So with that, take care. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you again. And please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the only way we can achieve perfection in life. All right. There's no other way. There's no other way. Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam. Kalavanasti, Evanasti, Gadir Anyataha. With that note, we'll end the session here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha paditanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Good night. Have a nice day. Gauranga.
Gauranga.
Auranga.